All right, let's jump right in today. We're going deep with, this book you sent in. Its title alone, 100 Days to Better Health, Good Sex, and Long Life, is a mouthful.
It's certainly attention-grabbing.
It is, right? So we're talking Taoist techniques this time. Should be fascinating.
Definitely. Taoism, it's all about harmony, living in sync with the way, the Tao, as it's called. But before we get to the specifics of, well, better health and all that good stuff, the book promises.
Right.
It's important to get that Taoism isn't just some physical exercise thing.
Okay, so it's more than that.
Much more. It's this whole blend of your breath, how you move, and getting your mind calm and sharp all at once.
So it's like a holistic approach to feeling good. You're working on everything, not just one part of yourself.
Exactly. And the book, it gives a pretty unique take on how to do that. You'll see serious discipline, but also this playful side to life, all mixed together.
That's cool because the book starts off strong, saying your life is like the most valuable thing you've got, something to really cherish and work on.
Yeah.
I think that resonates with you too, knowing how you love knowledge and self-improvement.
Absolutely. Taoists were practical, They believed taking care of yourself is the top priority. I mean, if we don't do that, how can we do anything else in the world, let alone keep the human race going?
Right, right.
And that leads us to the core of it all in Taoism, the three treasures, Jing, Qi, and Shen.
Okay, the three treasures. Now we're getting to the good stuff. Break those down for us.
Sure. So first is Jing. Think of it like your pure life force, your vitality. It's the basis of being healthy, both mentally and physically.
Okay, Jim, got it.
Then there's Qi, which is often called life force energy or breath. It's what makes us alive, the energy flowing through us.
Right.
And last, we have Shen. It's usually translated as mind or spirit, our consciousness, our awareness, our connection to something bigger.
So it's not just living a long time, but living a good, meaningful life too.
Well, exactly. Taoists believed that all three of these treasures are essential for being truly well.
Makes sense. And what's fascinating is how the book ties those treasures to the core of what Taoism is all about.
Yeah.
Controlling your breath, moving your body, and calming your mind. It's like a guide to boost each of those treasures.
You got it. And one of the most basic practices to build that Qi, that life force, is controlling your breath.
Okay.
The book calls it Qi Kung, and it goes deep into all sorts of techniques. Let's look at one specifically called abdominal breathing. Have you ever noticed how you breathe when you're relaxed?
Yeah, I guess I breathe slower and deeper.
Exactly. When you're stressed, you tend to breathe more from your chest.
Yeah, I do.
That's what the book talks about. Abdominal breathing. It helps you get back that natural deep breathing. It's amazing. As you practice this, you can actually feel your lower belly expanding when you breathe in, then gently pulling back in as you breathe out.
It's like giving your insides a massage with every breath.
Exactly. And that massage-like movement, it really helps get that Qi, that vital energy, flowing better within you.
So just changing how we breathe can affect the energy in our bodies. That's powerful stuff.
It is. The book says this better flow of Qi can really change your overall health and well-being.
I'm seeing how these simple-sounding things can make such a big difference. It's not about forcing things, it's about working with your body's natural energy.
That's the heart of Taoism, working with nature, not fighting it. As we look at more of these practices, you'll see this idea applied to all parts of life.
All right, I'm intrigued. So we've got Qi covered through abdominal breathing. What about Jing? How does Taoism work with that essential life force energy?
Okay, before we get to that, let's talk about moving the body as another way to cultivate Qi. The book goes into two main practices: Tao In, kind of like Taoist yoga, and Baduan Jin, which is sometimes called the 8 pieces of brocade.
Ooh, both of those sound really cool. What are they like?
Tao In, it's all about smooth movements, gently opening up your body. It's not pushing yourself to the limit, more about finding ease in your movements. The book highlights one exercise called opening the groin. Can you picture what that might involve?
Yeah, I'm imagining some stretches that target those tight hip flexors and inner thigh muscles. We spend so much time sitting, that area gets really stiff.
Exactly. And the book explains opening up those areas helps the energy flow better throughout your body. It's amazing how connected everything is.
It really is. Okay, so what about Baduan Jin? What makes it so special?
Well, Baduan Jin is a set of flowing movements, almost like a dance, all done with deep rhythmic breathing. It's meant to open up your energy channels and make you healthier overall.
Sounds graceful and powerful. I can see how these physical practices would build up that Qi energy.
They definitely do. Now, let's move to the maybe more sensitive topic of cultivating Jing, that primal energy we talked about earlier.
Okay, this is where it gets interesting. The book dives into sexual kung fu, and I know that might sound a bit, well, suggestive. But it's more than just sex.
Right. You're right. It's not what you might think at first. Taoists saw sexual energy as incredibly powerful and something that could be used for health and vitality. It's about working with this energy consciously instead of letting it just fade away.
So we're talking about channeling it for something better.
Exactly. The book explains that there are specific practices to cultivate and redirect Jing, that primal sexual energy, to other parts of the body. Tapping into that raw life force and using it to make you healthier overall.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are some of the techniques?
Well, there are practices like testicle breathing and ovarian breathing. I know the names sound a little unusual, but just bear with me.
I'm ready for this. This sounds fascinating.
It is, definitely. These practices use specific ways of breathing and visualization to pull energy from those areas and move it upwards.
Hold on, redirecting energy upwards. What does that even mean?
That's where the big draw comes in. Taoists believe that when you consciously pull this strong sexual energy upwards, it transforms into a more refined kind of energy.
Okay.
And this energy can then nourish your organs, calm your mind, even boost your spiritual awareness.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So it's not about ignoring or suppressing this energy, but understanding it,
Yeah.
working with it, and using it for something greater.
Exactly. And that's a key point the book makes about sexual energy. Finding that balance, building it up, and then directing it to benefit your overall well-being.
This is mind-blowing. We've gone from breathing to moving to now exploring the power of sexual energy, and it all goes back to those three treasures, Jing, Jing, and Shen. I have a feeling this is just the beginning of what this book has to teach us.
You're right about that. There's still so much more to explore, especially the more meditative and spiritual practices that the book gets into.
Okay.
These practices are all about quieting the mind and opening up what's called the microcosmic orbit, which is basically the main energy highway in your body.
The microcosmic orbit. That sounds incredibly interesting. Tell me more.
Okay, so imagine this. A continuous flow of energy looping through you, up your back, over your head, down the front. That's the microcosmic orbit. The book says it connects all the major energy centers in your body, like a central energy highway.
So if you open up that pathway, energy can move more freely.
Exactly. And that free flow of energy can really boost your health and vitality.
Oh, yeah.
It's like unclogging a river. The water flows better and brings life to everything along the way.
That's a great way to put it. How do you actually open up this microcosmic orbit? Is that something anyone can do?
The book has specific instructions on techniques you can use, combining breathwork, visualization, and focusing on certain energy points along that pathway. Like all these practices, it's a gradual process.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. It's all about working with your body's natural energy system, whether it's through breathing, moving, or focusing your mind.
You got it. And as we go further into the book, you'll see this idea in all the practices.
This is all so fascinating. Before we move on, though, I have to ask about one thing that really caught my attention. The golden flower. It sounds like something out of a fantasy book.
It does sound mystical, doesn't it? The golden flower is definitely one of the more advanced practices in the book.
So what is the golden flower? What does it mean in Taoist practice?
Think of the golden flower as a symbol of spiritual awakening and perfect health.
Okay.
It's this ideal state that Taoists try to achieve.
Mm.
The book has specific visualization techniques to activate this golden flower within your own energy system.
This is blowing my mind. I can't wait to hear more about this golden flower and how it fits into the whole picture of Taoism. We've covered so much in this first part of our deep dive.
We have, and in the next part, we'll really dig into the benefits that the book says come from these practices: better health, more energy, maybe even living longer.
I'm ready for round 2. Let's jump back into this incredible world of Taoist techniques and see what else we can uncover. Okay, let's dive back in. We've covered cultivating Jing and Qi, some pretty wild practices: abdominal breathing, Taoyin, Baduan Jin, even sexual kung fu. It's a lot to take in, but so interesting.
It is fascinating, isn't it? And it's not even just the techniques themselves, it's how this book blends ancient wisdom with stuff you can actually use in your life.
Totally. And speaking of practical stuff, the book has a whole section on self-massage.
Oh, yeah.
When I think massage, I think relaxing, pampering. But for the Taoists, it seems way deeper than that, right?
Right, not just a spa day for them. Taoists saw self-massage as a powerful tool, stimulating energy flow, detoxifying organs, even making you feel younger.
So we're not talking about just rubbing your shoulders after a long day.
Definitely not. You'll see techniques for massaging all different parts of the body. Face, ears, even the abdomen. It's all about hitting specific energy points and channels, like giving your insides a tune-up.
I'm curious about the focus on abdominal massage. Why is the belly so important in Taoism?
Well, Taoists see the abdomen as the core of your energy, your vitality. They call it the lower Tian. It's your center, physically and energetically.
So massaging that area is basically giving your core energy a boost.
Exactly. The book explains that massaging your abdomen helps release trapped gas, improves digestion, might even strengthen your immune system, like a power-up for your body's control center.
It's also fascinating, but I have to ask, do these techniques actually work? Can you really expect to feel a difference in your life?
The million-dollar question, right? Well, the book dives right into that, sharing stories from people who have seen some pretty amazing changes from doing these practices. More energy, better sleep, less stress, even a boost in their sex lives.
Those are some big claims. Are there any risks with doing these things?
It's a good question, and the book doesn't ignore it. It stresses starting slow, listening to your body, finding a qualified teacher if you're going to try the more advanced stuff. It's not about pushing yourself to the limit. It's about finding what works for you.
I like that it takes a cautious approach. It's not about becoming some kind of energy master overnight.
Right. It's about finding harmony within yourself, working with your natural rhythms.
So we've got breathing, moving, and now self-massage. But I want to learn more about the microcosmic orbit. Can you remind me what that is and how it affects our well-being?
Of course. Imagine energy flowing in a loop through your body, up the back, over your head, then down the front. That's the microcosmic orbit.
Okay.
The book says it connects all your major energy centers, like a main highway system for your energy.
So if you open up that pathway, energy can flow better throughout your whole system.
Exactly. And that free flow can really change your health and vitality. It's like clearing a blockage in a river. The water flows smoother, brings life to everything it touches.
That's a great analogy. But how do you actually open this microcosmic orbit? Can anyone do it?
The book has really specific steps you can follow. It uses breath work, visualization, focusing your attention on certain points along that energy pathway. Like anything else, it takes time and practice.
Sounds like an amazing journey of self-discovery.
It really is. And you know what's interesting? The book links sexual energy to the microcosmic orbit. Remember the big draw?
Yeah, drawing sexual energy upwards.
Well, the book says this upward flow can actually help open the microcosmic orbit. It allows that transformed energy to move more freely.
Whoa, that's pretty wild. So these practices are all connected, they work together?
That's the beauty of Taoism. It's this holistic approach, seeing the body, mind, and spirit as one.
And since we're talking about things that are connected, I can't let you go without asking more about the golden flower. It's such a powerful image. I have to know more.
I get it. It's intriguing. The golden flower is definitely one of the more mystical parts of Taoism. The book describes it as a visualization practice. You imagine this golden flower opening up inside your energy centers.
It sounds almost magical. What's the meaning behind it?
The golden flower represents spiritual awakening, vibrant health, the perfect balance of yin and yang energies within you. It's a powerful practice that can really heighten your awareness and connect you to something bigger.
This is all so inspiring, but I'm also thinking, these are ancient practices. Do they really still work today? Can you really achieve the kind of transformations the book describes?
That's a great question, and it's something we're going to get into in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll take a closer look at the health benefits the book promises and see what science has to say about it all.
I'm ready to see what we find. I'm excited to see if these ancient practices might be the key to a healthier, more vibrant life, even today.
It's a really interesting possibility, and I'm looking forward to exploring it with you. Let's see what awaits us in the last part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we've been through breathing exercises, learned about moving with Taoist and Baoduan Jin, even touched on sexual kung fu and self-massage. It's been quite the journey.
It has been, but the big question is, does this book actually deliver what it promises? Can these practices really make you healthier, help you live longer, have a blank life?
Right, that's what we want to know. And the book, it's full of big claims, connecting these Taoist techniques to all sorts of things, boosting your immune system, improving digestion, less stress, even a longer life.
It does, doesn't it?
But is there any science behind all that? Or is it mostly ancient wisdom and stories?
It's a little bit of both, actually. Like mindfulness and yoga, which are kind of related to Taoism, those are being studied more and more by science. Right. But specific research on these Taoist techniques, still pretty limited.
So we're in a place where personal experience is really important.
Exactly. And that's where the book's 100-day challenge comes in. It's like, hey, be your own experiment. Try these practices and see what happens.
I like that. It puts you in control of your own well-being. You get to discover what works for you.
Exactly. And the book even says not everyone will have the same results. It really emphasizes listening to your body, adjusting things as needed, and not getting discouraged if you don't see changes right away.
It's all about the journey, not just the destination, right?
Exactly. You know, even if science hasn't fully caught up to everything in the book, there's something to be said for a system that's been around for thousands of years.
I agree. There's so much wisdom and experience built into these practices, things we might not even be able to measure in a lab yet.
And think about it. A lot of these practices, they encourage things we already know are good for us. Deep breathing, mindful movement, managing stress.
Right.
So even if some of the more mystical stuff isn't scientifically proven yet, the basic ideas are solid.
That makes sense. So, being practical, is this 100-day challenge something a regular person can actually do?
Well, the good news is you don't have to completely change your life or become a monk to benefit from these practices.
Jew, that's a relief.
It's about finding little ways to work these practices into your daily routine. Maybe start with 5 minutes of abdominal breathing in the morning or a quick Taoist stretch during your workday.
Small changes that add up over time.
Exactly. And that 100-day challenge, it helps you stay consistent, which is super important for making any new habit stick.
I think that's one of the best things we've learned from this deep dive.
Yeah.
We've gotten a taste of this ancient system, but it's really up to each of us to decide how to make it part of our lives.
Couldn't agree more. It's like this deep dive has opened a door to all sorts of possibilities. Now it's about taking what speaks to you and seeing where it goes.
So, to our listener, we hope this has been as interesting and inspiring for you as it's been for us. You've gotten this glimpse into the world of Taoist practices for health, longevity, and just feeling good.
And remember, the book is just a starting point. Keep exploring, try things out, find what works for you. Maybe abdominal breathing clicks with you, or the beauty of Tao In draws you in. Maybe it's the idea of the microcosmic orbit that sparks your interest.
The most important thing is to be open, be curious, and listen to your body.
And who knows, maybe you'll even discover your own inner golden flower along the way.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive. We hope it's inspired you to start your own journey of self-discovery.